guys, Comic Boom here to review my top 35 comics for 2018. I gotta tell you something, I was halfway done this video last night, but I was interrupted by my wife, and then, unbeknownst to me, I was dragged out to my 50th birthday party. It was a surprise birthday party for me, and it was actually a surprise, and it was amazing. Had a fantastic time, and one of the things I acquired there as a gift from family members is this fantastic comic book, which I've wanted for a long time. It's the initial Superman Flash race. Check that out, huh? Amazing. Can't believe it, man. This is just a wonderful score. I don't know. How did they know? That's the one good thing about my family members knowing my comic book retailer who knows what comic books I like. And he took this out of this collection, and this was a nice gift. So yeah, kudos. And yeah, I just want to make a public thank you to all my friends and family who wished me a happy 50th. And yeah, it's bigger and better. I don't feel like I'm 50, but you know, you never do. We always feel younger than we are. I'm like perpetually 30 in my mind. But in any event, let's deal with the top 35 comic books for 2018. This is going to be a quick rundown because I don't want this to be a video that goes on forever. Coming in at number 35 is Marvel 2-in-1, Chip Zdarsky. This comic book was, we were all hoping, because it was so well written, Chip Zdarsky did such a good job creating an adventure between the Thing and Johnny Storm, sort of searching, traveling through the multiverse, looking for Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, and the kids, flowing out of the, we know that, of course, the Fantastic Four, they were basically lost to the multiverse at the end of Secret Wars, or rather they went off and explored the multiverse. And, well, this had all the hallmarks of being a great series, and it was. After issue 6 or 7, it went down significantly in quality, and Chip Zdarsky unfortunately is not writing Fantastic Four, and consequently I'm not really reading Fantastic Four. I read the first 4 issues, not really into it, but in any event, this is well worth it to pick up, at least pick up the first trade. And even though the story sort of ends on a whimper, and I understand it might even still be going on, I don't recommend continuing to collect it, but it was that good at the beginning that it makes I put it in at number 35. Now, at number 34 is Ninjak. If you like ninjas, Valiant comic books, man, there's a lot of great comic books in the Valiant universe. Ninjak is one of them. If you like espionage, if you like good writing, Christos Cage is doing a great job here. Roberto Della Torre doing a great job on the. I believe he's the artist, but in any event, check it out. It's well worth it. Good ninja, good espionage, great dialogue. Check it out. Number 33, Uber Invasion. Now this is a comic book written by Kieran Gillen that not a lot of people talk about, but it's an alternative take on World War II. Imagine World War II ending not because of the atomic bomb, but that ending because the Germans were the first nation to discover the secrets, not of the atom, but the secrets of creating metahumans and basically human battleships that can go and literally wipe out entire cities, and how that would affect the war. This is a series that's been going on for many years. I've gotten every issue. I love it. I think it's really great. I think it's one of the most underrated series out there. If you like if you're into history and you like alternative takes, this is very well researched by Kieran Gillen, and then he obviously adds he twists and turns all kinds of things because he's writing an alternative history, but it's well worth checking out. Uber Invasion. Coming in at number 32 is Shazam #1. Now, the only reason this is way down at number 32 is because there's only one issue out. I actually love this. I really love this. If we were just doing happy comics that put a smile on my face and make me happy, and comics that I give a very high rating to, it would be Shazam. Billy Batson is back, people. Shazam's back. This is a great comic book to pick up. If you can, also pick up the earlier trades that were collected, because initially it was a backup feature in the pages of the Justice League and the New 52. That backup feature was drawn by Kerry Frank. Doug Eaglesham does the art here. Fantastic, written by Jeff Johns. Well worth the pick up, especially with the Shazam movie coming out. This embodies the spirit of DC Rebirth that DC appears to be slowly moving away from through most of their titles. This is bringing it back. Jeff Johns is the man. All right, issue now number 31 Red Hood Outlaw. Red Hood and the Outlaws has always been a great comic book. Jason Todd as the Red Hood with Artemis and Bizarro. What an odd, eclectic team up, but such a consistently great read, consistently entertaining. And right now it's written by Pete Woods, but it always has great art. Even when Jason Todd is by himself without Bizarro and without Artemis, it becomes Red Hood Outlaw, and it's still an entertaining comic book. This is consistently well written and consistently beautifully drawn. You got to check it out. All right, coming in at number 30, Silencer. This is officially my choice for my favorite New Age of Heroes comic. I put this ahead of the Terrifics now, only because it sort of reminds me of sort of a modern day take of Lady Killer, which is a Joelle Jones series, which I really like, about a female assassin, a housewife assassin in the 1950s/1960s. And this is just basically a black woman who's basically she's a mother and she's got a family, and she's sort of pulled back into a criminal organization called Leviathan, managed and basically controlled by Talia al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. And it's just a well-written, fantastic comic book, and it's consistent. Another one that's consistently great. Dan Abnett's part of it. Herbert and Spicer are in this latest issue. Guys, check out Silencer. All right, number 29, Catwoman. I just finished mentioning Joelle Jones writing Lady Killer. Well, Joelle Jones is now writing Catwoman, and she wrote the first 6 issues. She drew most of the issues. I think she drew 4 out of the 6 issues. Joelle Jones is still sort of learning the ropes a little bit on the storytelling. This issue 6 sort of ended a little bit. The storytelling wasn't quite all there. There was some plot holes there and some inconsistencies. But the art's so beautiful, and she's got an enthusiasm in her writing that I'm in this thing for the long haul. And in any event, it's better than Batman. Batman did not make my top 35. It wouldn't even have made my top 100, quite frankly. But in any event, you check out Catwoman. All right, number 28, a series called Die, Die, Die by Image. Robert Kirkman, Scott Gimple, Chris Burnham, and Nathan Fairburn. Die, Die, Die is just a fun, violent comic book. It takes place on... It's a world where politicians are corrupt, but there's another group of corrupt politicians that are sort of the good, bad politicians, that they somehow manage to kill the right people to make the right things happen. And if you don't really know what I mean when I say that, you got to check this out. This is funny, hilarious, with great action. Well worth the read. That's Die, Die, Die by Image. Number 27. This was on my top one-shots of one of my top 10 one-shots of 2018. But Secret Weapons, it's a series. This is Secret Weapons, Owen's story. Secret Weapons, it's written by it takes place in the Valiant universe. It deals with the mutants of the Valiant universe are called Psiots, and it's basically the X-Men done right. It's not confusing, it's easy to follow, it's well written, it's fantastically written, puts the X-Men to shame. Check out Secret Weapons, guys. You won't regret it. I should say, it's not, the series is actually over now, but just check out the Valiant universe, because the story of the Psiots permeates throughout the Valiant universe, and it's really good. All right, number 26, IDW, Through the Mirror Darkly. I don't like Star Trek The Next Generation, but I love the darker universe, the mirror universe in Star Trek, and this really, really hits it out of the park. And I actually got to enjoy this for the first time in a long time. I actually enjoyed reading the Next Generation crew of Star Trek, all because I enjoyed their darker counterparts, and I wanted their darker counterparts to win. But not surprisingly, it sort of ends in a stalemate, so to speak. But well worth checking out. IDW does a really good job here. Anything to do with Star Trek, IDW just really seems to do a good job. And Through the Mirror, their Dark Universe saga, they continue to do a really good job on that. All right, number 25, Bloodsport. Bloodshot. Man, I gotta start thinking independently here. I'm just sort of blindly looking at the comics as I'm picking this up because I want to get this done in a timely manner. But anyways, Bloodshot. This is what I like about Bloodshot is I find that not only is this a good ongoing story, about an assassin who basically has nanites in his blood that gives him a healing power and a healing factor. So you might think that he's sort of like a quasi Wolverine character, and in a sense he is, but he's actually more complex than Logan. This is well written. There's great characterization. There's also more than one Bloodshot in a sense, that because it takes the different story arcs, they take place at different points in time over a 100-year timeline. My favorite story was one that actually involved a Bloodshot dog in World War II. Anyways, really great story. Always well written. Jeff Lemire's read the stories by Jeff Lemire and Bloodshot. So well done. It's not given enough credit, man. Check out Bloodshot. All right. So, number 24, Archie, 1941. Archie, the comic book, Archie the character, came out in 1941. So, Mark Waid has written a tale of what if Archie, let's place Archie and the Riverdale gang in 1941. And how would they deal with the America entering World War II? How would they deal with America about to go through that fundamental change? And how would the Riverdale gang, how would they grow up dealing with the harsh reality of war? Betty, Veronica, Reggie, Moose, all of them, Jughead. How would they all react? Who would go to war? Who would come back? Who wouldn't come back? Those are questions that you're asking yourself, and this is basically what they should be. In my view, Archie 1941 should be the TV show. That Riverdale TV show is, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but that's not Archie. This is Archie. Classic Archie, but such an adult take, and very well written by Mark Waid. Fantastically done by Mark Waid. Mark Waid's on my list a couple of times, as you'll see. He's really hitting it out the park. He had a really good year in 2018, other than a particular lawsuit, but we're not going to talk about that. We're talking comics. In any event, check Archie 1941 out. All right. So number 23 is Teen Titans. Adam Glass came on Teen Titans. I think it was on issue 21, actually, or maybe issue 20. Adam Glass has basically revitalized the Teen Titans by giving it a new roster, and probably the most popular new character is, of course, Crush. Check out Teen Titans issue 25. It gives her origin. The Teen Titans 25 was actually one of my top one-shots of 2018. Very well written, self-contained story, fantastic. Guys, check out Teen Titans. It's a complete revitalization. You can probably pick up the trade of the first few issues very soon in the next month or so. It's well worth it. This is the Teen Titans being put on the right track thanks to Adam Glass. Check it out. All right, and number 22, The Wrong Earth. This is Ahoy Comics, The Wrong Earth. I've talked about this comic book before, but I'm gonna repeat myself again. This is fantastic. This is basically, imagine a Batman-like character. In this case, it's Dragonfly. He's the Dragonfly. This is Dragonfly, and this is Dragonfly Man. They're the same persons, but on alternate Earths. Now imagine them switching places. One of them is a hardcore Batman-like Dragonfly, and the other one is like an Adam West joke kind of Dragonfly Man. And imagine them switching Earths, how they would deal with the craziness and the differences in each other's worlds while still trying to stop the bad guys. And imagine how the bad guys react. Guys, this is such a breath of fresh air. Very good. Check out The Wrong Earth. If you happen to see this, don't be dismayed by it, man, because the art's fantastic, the story's fantastic. I know it's not the big two, but check it out. Break off the big two once in a while. All right. Now, number 21, Death of the Inhumans. Donny Cates, this is the first showing of him on my list. He's going to show up later, and you can probably guess which comics he's going to show up in. But Death of the Inhumans, I don't really know much about the Inhumans. I watched the show a little bit, and I know the show wasn't all that great, although I didn't mind it. Death of the Inhumans was really good. The art here is fantastic. Ariel Olivetti, Jordi Belair. This was a great series. Basically, Marvel has had sort of a love-hate relationship with the Inhumans. They tried to make the Inhumans, editorially, they tried to make the Inhumans replace the X-Men. That didn't go over very well. Now, of course, we're glutted with a bunch of X-Men titles. And the Inhumans, well, you can tell this is their attitude toward the Inhumans. They've actually killed off most of the Inhumans. And the perfect guy to do that was Donny Cates. But it's a well-written tale, a very sad and tragic tale, but enough that it was very emotionally heartfelt. And it was a gut punch. It was a gut punch, that opening issue, and the way it all sort of revolved itself. Well, you got to check it out. All right, so number 20, Highest House. This is by IDW. Now, this is the only comic book in my top 35 that is ultra size. This is magazine size. And the art here is absolutely fantastic. Highest House is about a character whose name is Moth, and he starts off as a slave, but over the years he ends up befriending sort of a sorcerer in the Highest House, which is sort of the castle where this story, in these lands where the story takes place in. This is basically the first 6 issues here. It's absolutely gorgeous. The first arc ended in 2018. I believe 2019, the second 6-issue arc will begin. It is absolutely gorgeous. Writer is Mike Carey, art lettering by Peter Gross, colorist Fabian Alquire. Very well done. Check out Highest House. All right, number 19, Aquaman. I don't know what it is about Aquaman, but good Lord, Aquaman has had a fantastic year, and his comic books have been fantastic too, and it doesn't matter who's writing them. He's had a number of different writers this year, from Dale Abnett in particular has done a great job. I can't off the top of my head, I'm going quicker, guys, I can't off the top of my head remember some of the other ones, but I'm loving Aquaman. Every adventure I'm reading is great. He was even in a big event called Drowned Earth. While it had its shortcomings, it was still entertaining as hell, and it crossed over with the Justice League right at the same time that the movie hit. And the movie is probably going to hit $1 billion. Wow. So this is a great year for Aquaman. Check out the Aquaman comic book, guys, and some of these gorgeous covers. Look at that, huh? Amazing. Aquaman. He's the man. Okay, so number 18. Sacred Creatures. Sacred Creatures, a lot of these issues came out in 2017, but in 2018, the first arc of Sacred Creatures ended. Imagine, if you will, the 7 deadly sins of envy, gluttony, pride, sloth, greed, lust, wrath, and vanity, facing off against the virtues of kindness, temperance, humility, diligence, generosity, chastity, justice, and empathy. And then throw in the devil, and then throw in other characters, and throw in innocent civilians, and then you're going to have a crazy modern-day epic that takes place and juxtaposes itself against different points of time. And it's a beautifully written tale, fantastically illustrated. Unquestionably one of the most underrated comics by Image that came out in 2018, that basically the first arc ended. Check it out, Sacred Creatures. 17, Hawkman. This maybe could be a little higher on my list, but the bottom line is that I'm a little reluctant to, because as much as I'm enjoying Hawkman, the art's fantastic, Robert Venditti is doing such a fantastic job, I'm still holding back on it because not a lot of stories happen, but Robert Venditti just seems to have a passion for this character, and so does the fantastic artist, the art of Brian Hitch. This is just a great series overall. You can see the passion of the creators. You can feel it. It's great writing. It consistently entertains. And we finally got a sort of a new revitalized origin for Hawkman that sort of harkens back and brings in elements of the old along, combining it with elements of new to really raise the mythology of Hawkman. And I suspect Hawkgirl to the next level. Great stuff. All right. Number 16. X-O Man of War, another Valiant. I put Ninjak was on there higher up on the list, but X-O Man of War continues to entertain the heck out of me. Currently written by Matt Kind and Joan Jose Rip, Andrew Delhouse, and Dave Sharp. This is X-O Man of War. He goes from basically being the ruler of an entire planet. He rises from a soldier all the way to the emperor of an entire world, only to be banished off that world. Now he's back on Earth, and he's interacting with the other characters of the Valiant universe. This thing consistently entertains, and it always feels epic and big, but yet you don't have to buy a bunch of titles like the Infinity mess at Marvel, and you feel like the universe actually feels like it makes sense and it's cohesive, not like it's this massive disarray of disparate characters like often, unfortunately, Marvel can feel like, and sometimes DC. But check out the Valiant Universe, X-O Man of War. Okay, Daredevil. Coming in at number 15, Daredevil under Charles Soule this year. Man, Charles Soule ended, his last arc ended, the death of Daredevil at issue 612. But Charles Soule's Charles Soule's run on Daredevil has just been nothing short of just plain thoroughly entertaining. It had its low moments. I won't say that it was always spectacular. Sometimes there were some meh moments, but the high point for me was actually in 2017 when Matthew Murdock went to court and actually got it legal for masked people to costume criminals to actually they could hide their secret identity and still testify against criminals in court, as in, you know. And anyways, it was I like the legal side of it, but you know, when he became mayor, when Matthew Murdock became mayor, or rather than Kingpin did, and the little narrative trick that Charles Soule played in this Death of Daredevil arc, it was very well done. Check out Daredevil, guys. You won't be disappointed. One of the consistently great comic books, consistently always great, no matter who writes it. Here's Daredevil. All right, coming in at number 14 is Amazing Spider-Man. Nick Spencer, man. I enjoyed his Secret Empire. I thought it ended terribly, but I enjoyed the journey. But wow, he's made Amazing Spider-Man, and I mean, enjoyable again. I mean, not that I didn't enjoy it under Dan Slott. Dan Slott's last issue 801 of Amazing Spider-Man, I put on I put as my number 2 or 3 on my best one-shots of 2018. But Amazing Spider-Man is just great. The latest issue with J. Jonah Jameson and Spider-Man. Spider-Man, of course, has revealed his secret identity to J. Jonah Jameson. The way that the characters are interweaving with Mary Jane, with Black Cat, with all the characters. Nick Spencer is just doing a fantastic job. And Ryan Ottley, coming off his fantastic run on Invincible, off of Image. This is really one of the... If you're not collecting Amazing Spider-Man, guys, you're really missing out. Number 13, The Life of Captain Marvel. All I gotta say is, wow, I can't believe a writer, Margaret Stohl. I was so hard on Margaret Stohl, I've said this before. I thought she did such a terrible job on Captain Marvel. And yet she turns around and completely redeems herself by doing a fantastic job in The Life of Captain Marvel. I now love Captain Marvel thanks to Margaret Stohl. This series has it all. It's clearly, easily one of Marvel's best comic books. Easily, if I did a Marvel top 10, this probably would be number 5 or possibly number 4 on the list out of 10. It's that good. It's low key, it's high key. See what I did there? It's got adventure, action, romance, and it tries to. It doesn't perfectly sink in all the continuity, but how can you? It's such a convoluted continuity, but it does a really good job. There's some hiccups there in trying to reconcile her character with Civil War II, but I think it does a reasonably competent job there as well, even with trying to create a reconciliation with Tony Stark, which might be stretching it a bit given what happened in Civil War II, but it all works moving forward, and especially with the movie coming out, this is a comic book that you really should be checking out. All right, number 12, Thanos Wins by Donny Cates. Donny Cates, one that once again makes the list. Thanos Wins, guys. Check this out. You want to know why Thanos? You already know why Thanos was great. You've seen the Infinity War movie. Thanos wins. This is Thanos winning in even a more spectacular and crazy fashion that he wins in the movie Infinity War. That's all I'm going to say. Check out Thanos Wins. All right, number 11. Brian Michael Bendis made the list because The Defenders was simply that good. I mean, before he came to DC, one of the last titles he did was, other than the terrible run on Iron Man, The Return of Tony Stark, which was awful. This was exceptionally good. The art by David Marquez, well written by Brian Michael Bendis, sort of a nice swan song to characters that he absolutely loves, with Jessica, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Daredevil. These are characters that Brian Bendis knows, and it really shows in this spectacularly written. It's a 10-issue series, and it was intended to be longer than 10 issues, probably had Brian Michael Bendis stayed at Marvel, but of course we know that didn't happen because Bendis is coming? No, he already came to DC. In any event, check out Defenders. All right, number 10 on the list, my top 10. Coming in at number 10 of the top 10 best comics of 2018. Number 10, Nightwing, New Order, The New Order. This was a great series written by Kyle Higgins, McCarthy on the art, and White on the inks. This is a tale of a dystopian future where basically the last hero standing is essentially Dick Grayson, and all the super-powered beings in the DC universe are basically stripped of their powers, and it becomes illegal to have a superpower. And how that plays out, with Dick Grayson, particularly when his own son, who's the offspring of him and Starfire, when his own son begins to exhibit metahuman capabilities, and how it forces Dick Grayson to reevaluate his views of the New World Order, and how he comes to reconcile the new and the old with all the new and the different takes on the different heroes. This is such a breath of fresh air. It's 6 issues long. This is, in many ways, this was basically Secret Empire done right in the eyes of many people, and only 6 issues long. Very well done. Number 9, Justice League Dark. Wow, guys, James Tynion IV has done such a great job in Justice League Dark. I didn't like Justice League Dark, the new 52. I've never found myself a particularly huge proponent of or supporter of magic in comic books, but this changes my mind. This is such a well-written series. I love James Tynion IV. I actually like his style of writing. I don't mind his longer exposition. I don't mind. I actually quite enjoy it because sometimes I enjoy being spoon-fed a little bit, maybe more so than most. I don't know. But in any event, this is such a great tape. Bobo, the chimpanzee who drinks, Wonder Woman leading the team, and all fighting against the other kind, that these magical creatures that were released from the Source Wall out of the Pages of Metal. The Witching Hour that this was part of, which was the best DC event of 2018 by far, the Witching Hour. Very well done series. Check this out. Okay, number 8. Mark Waid's on the list again. Doctor Strange. I've never really been a fan of Doctor Strange until now. I didn't realize that Doctor Strange could be such an interesting character. I got on to Doctor Strange when Donny Cates was writing him at the tail end of Donny Cates' run, but never really got an appreciation of the character, and I was going to drop him. But then I heard Mark Waid, who I love as a writer, was going to write Doctor Strange, and he sends Doctor Strange off into space, and Doctor Strange relearns magic through, of all things, through scientific means, through another character, a potential love interest in the series, and her name is I think it's Kana. In any event, this is such a beautifully written series, and the art by Jose Saez is just beautiful. This is consistently one of the best written and best drawn series of 2018. Check out Doctor Strange. You don't need to know anything else about him. Just check it out. It's that good. Alright, coming in at number 7 is Superman. Now, I say Superman because I put Superman on my list because whether you love Patrick Gleason or Tomasi, or you like Brian Bendis, or vice versa, or you like one or you don't like the other, the fact is they overlapped in 2018, and my favorite Superman stories of probably the last decade, many of them have been written in this past year because they're just that good. And I got to give Peter Tomasi and Patrick Gleason the credit for that. And also, I got to give some credit to Brian Bendis. I think Bendis has he's writing a very longer-term epic tale. He's expanding Superman's mythology. He's expanding the DC Galactic Universe. So I think that, and it's all happening in the pages of Superman and in Supergirl, but it's worth checking out. And it's epic enough for me that the stories by Patrick Gleason, Peter Tomasi, drawn by Patrick Gleason, along with the transition to Bendis, while controversial, I think it was good. There's still a feeling of epicness, and it really got me excited about the character again. So I'm going to just say Superman comics in general. Great stuff. All right. Number 6 on the list. Batman White Knight. This has to be on the list, man. Sean Murphy with Matt Hollingsworth. This probably is going to be number 1 on some people's list, but this is such a great series. Consistently, every issue was fantastic. The idea of the Joker becoming the good guy and Batman becoming the Dark Knight, and the Joker's the White Knight, and the Joker becoming sane and rational and actually protecting Gotham and helping Gotham in a better way than even Batman can, makes for a really epic tale and an epic take, and even what they did with Harley here and the other Harley, it's such a great story. Guys, you have to get this. I think it's already out in trade. Batman the White Knight, there's going to be a sequel in it in 2019 by Sean Murphy. We're all going to be checking that out. All right, now number 5, Donny Cates again. Donny Cates Venom. Number 5, Donny Cates Venom. I always hated Venom. I thought it was stupid. I thought it was a ridiculous character. And then, you know what? 2018, just like 2018 was a year for Aquaman, 2018 is also the year for Venom. Aquaman and Venom really benefited from 2018, I gotta tell you, because they both have spectacular movies. Yes, even Venom. And they've got really great comic book writing here. Donny Cates has revitalized and essentially completely rewritten, is what I've been told, the Venom mythology. All I know is that I'm really liking it. Who knew that the Venom symbiote was actually a god, or came from a god, the god Null, and this is even tied into Jason Aaron's Thor run, and wow, just Donny Cates is the Jeff Johns of the Marvel Universe, and if you want to know why, all you got to do is start reading Venom. Well worth it. All right, number 4, Mr. Miracle. This was hit and miss for a lot of people. I've reviewed every single issue of this 12-issue series. I think I've been very hard on Tom King, but I want to give him credit here. This was a great series. It ended very well. It ended happy. I liked it. Even if it took place all in scot-free's head, the fact remains is that how do you defeat the anti-life? How do you defeat fear? Simple. You just love your family. You keep moving forward. Don't stop. If you're going through hell, you keep on going. Why? Because that's life. Life's not fair, but that doesn't mean it isn't extraordinary. You keep moving forward. That's the message of Mr. Miracle. That's why it's number 4 on my list for 2018. All right. Number 3. The Mighty Thor. Jason Aaron's The Mighty Thor. It's the ending of the sacrifice of Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor, in the death of the Mighty Thor arc. This made for the best, my 3rd best comic book of 2018. This was consistently entertaining. It was emotional. It was impactful. It really got to me. It made me shed a tear. For that reason alone, I almost put it at number 1. This was, incidentally, this issue 704. I cheated to made this my favorite one-shot. Number 1 one-shot of 2018. It's that good. Guys, Jason Aaron's doing a really good job. I'm less excited about his 3rd arc with Odinson being back, and it's leading to the War of the 10 Realms, because Marvel does not know how to do big events. They squander them. And look at how bad how bad and awful Infinity Wars was, which was easily the worst event of 2018. I found the most confusing and the most, it was a disaster, I think, quite frankly. But in any event, the War of the 10 Realms, I wish Marvel would just leave Jason Aaron alone, let him do his own thing. Don't make it a big event, but we'll see what happens. But in any event, at least in 2018, because of Jane Foster, we had a fantastic Thor. All right, number 2, Doomsday Clock. That's right, it didn't make my number 1. A Raging Green Maniac made number 1, but in any event, number 2 is Doomsday Clock. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, fantastic job. If this is plagued with delays, it drives me crazy. It drives all of us crazy, because we know this is such a fantastic series. I chose the cover to show this one of the Joker. That clearly, Doomsday Clock was initially planned to be sort of like leading toward the rebirth of the DC universe. But unfortunately, now we know that DC's now changed their plans and they've gone a lot darker. But it still doesn't change the fact that this is a fantastic series. It's well written. It really makes one appreciate just why Superman is such an icon in the DC universe, and just what the differences are between the DC universe and the Watchmen universe with Dr. Manhattan. Who is Dr. Manhattan? What identity does he have in the DC universe? We don't know yet. That's still part of the mystery. Is he going to end up fighting Superman? How is it all going to resolve? And we don't know, but man, this is a 2-year epic. This is a 12-issue series, but it feels like a regular series that's going on for so long. But it's beautifully drawn by Gary Frank and Jeff Johns. Man, you know how to write, my friend. Check out Doomsday Clock. All right, I hinted at it. Here it is, number one comic book of 2018. Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk, man. Al Ewing, the writer, man, he's done a fantastic job. And the cover art here by Alex Ross. Al Ewing on the interiors, Joe Bennett on the interiors, Joe Bennett, Martin Simmons, Rue Jose, Paul Mounts. There may be different creators on here from, different pencilers from time to time. But Al Ewing, the idea of Hulk as a monster, and even David Banner, somewhat like David Banner is he's much darker as well. I mean, this is literally a comic book that's gone to hell, and they literally are in hell. They end up in hell at the end of issue 9 here, and issue 10 and all forward. The Hulk is literally in hell, but the way that he can reincarnate and he can come back, and the way the new sick, horrific powers work, how he becomes the Hulk only after he's killed, and how he can stay the Hulk, and you can even chop him into pieces and he'll still become the Hulk. It's horrifying, and it works, and Al Ewing does such a good job of the psychological elements as well. Psychologically, as well as the visuals, work together here to create an epic, horrific take on the Hulk that can't help but to just make you go wow and entertain the heck out of you guys. That is a fantastic issue, and again, my favorite comic book of 2018, and it's not a DC comic. Can you believe that? But hey, when it's good, guys. Guys, those are my top 35, and I'm at 36 minutes here, and wow, I was hoping to do that, keep it down to a minute, and I think I managed to do that. So in any event, guys, those are my top 35 for 2018. In the future, in the next month or so, I'm going to have my top 50 at 50. I just turned 50 years old, or I will on the 2nd, and I will have my top 50 at the age of 50, my top 50 comic books of all of my lifetime. And I'm still working on that, but boy, if you think trying to come up with a list of 35 comics for just 2018 is try picking the top 50 comic books that you've ever read in your entire life, because that's what I got ahead of me, and it's still a work in progress. So in any event, guys, have a happy New Year, and yeah, hit the subscribe button, follow me on Twitter, and until next time, Comic Boom out.